Hey, how's it going, guys? Matt Modi with OddsJam, and I'm just continuing to get out some early NFL Week 9 bets that I'm currently placing or have already placed. So for this video, there are 3 bets total. One of them I've already locked in. 2 of them I'm going to lock in live on the video, assuming the odds don't change on me. One of them is going to be a half unit play. The last 2 are going to be full unit plays, my 2 favorite bets as of right now. Obviously, odds are constantly changing. So, what is going to be my favorite play today won't be my favorite play tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, towards Sunday morning. Odds are constantly changing. Lines open up, get hammered by the sharps, change. So, if you're able to take advantage of lines before they get moved, then you find yourself a profitable bet. So, I've done a couple of these early bets videos so far, have more to come. So, make sure to subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel to continue to get all of our best bets, not only for the NFL, but for NBA as well. And if you want to find me specifically, you can on Twitter at Jedi Modi, like the Star Wars poster you see in the background here. Big Star Wars fan, so at Jedi Modi. But nobody cares about that. Let's get into it. So actually, I'll start with the play that I've already locked in. And what we're looking at here is Bengals -7 at -110 at WinBet and Ballybet. So I locked this in at WinBet, as you can see here. Actually, I put 3/4 of a unit. Sorry, my mistake. I thought I put a full unit. I only put 3/4 of a unit. But those of you at home, if you are tailing and you don't feel like doing the math, you either want half or a full. This is one I would recommend betting up to a full unit as opposed to just half a unit. Or you can just do what I did and bet 3/4 of a unit as well. Bengals -7 against the Carolina Panthers. So looks like WinBet changed their odds to -115, but it's still available at -110 at Ballybet. So we're still good to go there. So let's chat about this one. Number one, it's positive EV, right? That's obviously the most important thing. OddsJam calculates these no-vig odds of this play specifically to be at -111. You can round up to -112, and we can get it on WinBet, or I guess I should say now at Ballybet at -110. So there's a gap between these two numbers. That's positive expected value. And another thing that I like to do, and this is very important with spreads and totals, where the odds or those numbers are obviously going to be different from book to book. If you open this up in a new tab, it pulls up where every sportsbook prices a market at. So not only do we get to see like, okay, where do people price Bengals -7, but also where do people price this spread in general? And obviously 7 to 7.5 is a massive deal for football because of a touchdown, right? The Bengals win by exactly a touchdown. You push this bet, you lose this bet. That stuff's very important in the long run. Getting over or under those key numbers, depending on if you're backing an underdog or a favorite or whatever. But what we can see here is that most books do have it at -7, but we also see them, a decent amount, have it at 7.5 as well. PointsBet, FanDuel, DraftKings. Tipico kind of has it mixed, so they don't really count. But BetRivers, FoxBet, and then Pinnacle, sharpest sportsbook in the world. They all have it at Bengals 7.5. We can get it at -110 odds at Bengals -7. Another thing I like about it, look where every sportsbook prices Bengals -7. Every sportsbook that is pricing Bengals -7, every single one, is favoring the Bengals at this number, except for Ballybet. Look at all these books, -115, -105, -120, +100. Same thing, -120, +100, across the board. And then most importantly, the 3 sharp sportsbooks that I like to use to kind of confirm what lines should be priced at, BetOnline, Bookmaker, and Pinnacle, all favor the Bengals pretty heavily. -120, -121, -124, all favoring the Bengals. So this is a really good line, and it shows you why positive expected value betting and why, line shopping is so important, because you want to be signed up for every book and you want to maximize your chances of finding a good line. Now, I will admit, for handicapping purposes, this does make me a little nervous, backing the Bengals to win by a touchdown after what we just saw them do on Monday Night Football, putting up one of the most despicable offensive performances you'll ever see. And they're still going to be missing Jamar Chase. But what I will say is they had been rolling prior to that. The Bengals had been. They'd scored 65 points combined in their previous 2 games. Taking out last game, they had scored 27 plus in 4 of 5. So weird game against the Browns. For whatever reason, the Bengals just can't seem to beat the Browns. Joe Burrow's literally never beat them. in his entire career. Browns just have their number. The Panthers, as good as they have looked the past 2 weeks, smashed the Bucs 2 weeks ago, should have beaten the Falcons last week. I'm still not buying it. The Bengals do have some injury concerns with Chidobe Awuzie getting hurt for the year, but it makes sense why they are favored by a touchdown here. They're still they're going to be at home. They still theoretically should be able to get some stuff going on offense after a bad week last week. So this one makes sense. That's the one I've already locked in. The next play that I wanted to talk about that I have not locked in yet is the New England Patriots under 22.5 points plus 100 at PointsBet. This is going to be one that is just going to be half a unit. I'm going to put $50 on this one. Patriots team total under 22.5. Let's make sure that this one gets locked in because I know PointsBet can be weird, and perfect, it was. So this is one that I haven't locked in yet. Obviously, you just saw me lock it in. But what's cool is I don't need to go and manually add this to my OddsJam bet tracker because you can now sync your sportsbooks. So if you go to the OddsJam bet tracker, you go to your dashboard, whatever screen, you can now sync your sportsbooks and it'll do that for you. So you don't need to manually go in and add them. But this is another play that I do really like. No vig line at about minus 102. PointsBet giving it to us at plus 100. And if you open this one up in a new tab, view where all the sportsbooks price it. So not really helpful here because every book is pricing this main line at 22.5. BetMGM has it at 23, but they're heavily juicing the under, so not necessarily a main line there. But this play makes sense for handicapping purposes as well. The Patriots offense has been hit or miss. They had a horrible game against the Bears 2 weeks ago where they swapped out Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones. They didn't necessarily look that much better last week. They just were gifted some of the worst passes you'll ever see a quarterback make in Zach Wilson throwing interceptions to the Patriots. And as bad as the Colts have been recently, and they've been bad, their defense has actually been very good. Their defense has been solid all year. They just gave up back-to-back drives to Heineke last week, but their defense has been great. So I expect this to be a low-scoring game. Obviously, it's got an insanely low over-under, like an implied total. If you look at those two of under 40 points. So the Patriots, wrong one. So the Patriots team total being under 22.5 makes a lot of sense to me. So this is my second bet. And my favorite one of the night is at BetMGM. I just got logged out of my BetMGM account. But my favorite bet is going to be the under 47 in the Bills versus Jets. So you can get this at plus 100 at BetMGM. Or if you want to be a little bit safer, another thing you can do is get their main line at 47.5 and bet the under there as well. You can also get that at PointsBet. Both bets are positive expected value. I am generally one that opts for safety. So I'm going to take the under 47.5. I'm going to put a full unit on this one, $100 that BetMGM lets me, or not, $10.90. But for those of you at home, this should be a full unit play here. And again, look at the value if we're just line shopping. Minus 110 at BetMGM and PointsBet. Every other book favors the under at this number. FanDuel, DraftKings, Tipico, BetRivers, FoxBet, Pinnacle, and this is important. And then if we look at the sharp books, Ballybet and Bookmaker, they price it at a half point lower at 47. And BetOnline actually favors the under at this number. So I like this one a lot from line shopping purposes and just from my own handicapping. Generally, one thing you'll note, one sports betting tactic, is if you see a spread that is double digits, more often than not, I forget the exact percentage, but 55 to 60% of the time, these games actually go under spreads this big. The game. So when a point spread is double digits, the game total trends under 55 to 60% of the time. Kind of a fun fact there. In this game specifically, the Bills still have the number one defense in the NFL. They've shut down every team they have played so far this year. Just a phenomenal defense. They're actually getting Tre'Davious White back, which is a huge deal for them. In the Jets defense, I'll give them credit. They projected to be one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They've actually been very, very good so far this year. Through, I think, 7 games or 8 games or 5-3, something like that. But Zach Wilson, I could not possibly be more out on a quarterback than I am on Zach Wilson. He can't just sit back in the pocket and just make reads and throw passes. He has to scramble around to do something crazy and then make the worst throws you'll ever see. So I don't think the Jets offense is going to be able to get anything going. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills offense struggles a little bit as well, just because of how good the Jets defense is. So this one makes a ton of sense. My favorite play of this video. Bills, Jets under 47.5, minus 110 at BetMGM. And that's it. So if you're tailing these 3 bets, let me know. Would love to hear it. Comment on the video with your feedback. Again, you can find me at Jedi Modai on Twitter. Please make sure to subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel, like the video, comment, all that good stuff. But that's it. So thanks for watching and have a good one.